Hey everyone, Pastor Winston here. Today we're going to look at the second of the two ordinations that Jesus gives to his disciples that ultimately apply to us in Matthew 5, verses 14 through 16. Listen to what he says. This is really spectacular, just to think on these things. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. You know, there's two things that Jesus really gives us here. He gives us a promise and a purpose. As disciples, we really need a couple things. We need a warning to stay salty, which we got in the first ordination. And we need encouragement to keep on, to watch and pray, and to walk in the light of God's highway. And so Jesus gives us both of these right here. And I just want to give you a little bit about starting with the promise. He says, your light is like a city on a hill, and it cannot be hidden. In other words, he's not going to allow it to go out. This is good news for us right now because a lot of us are anxious disciples. Don't you see that around a lot? I wonder if it's all going to work out. I wonder how things are going to go. I wonder what God's up to. But here's what he's saying is he's not going to let your light go out. In fact, this promise speaks to the impossibility of the uselessness of true disciples. And it's a great encouragement to us to know that this is the way this is going to do. You know, this is encouraging even when I think back to 911, which is the date you're most likely seeing this. Was 911 in 94 was the first church service of Catalina Foothills Church. And you know, as I look back on those years, we just had this sense of this thing was a lot bigger than us. This was God's glory. There's no way we could keep up with God on this, and this was going to be for His glory, and that somehow, in some way, this little church, in spite of all her imperfections, would still be a light in the city, like a city set upon a hill. And, you know, it is still to this day, and we should be really encouraged by those things. The second thing is he gives us a promise. The promise is rich because the promise gives us, purpose. He gives us a purpose because the purpose gives us a purpose in life. It says, you know, so many people wander around going, gee, I wonder if this is God's will for me and so forth. And, you know, this says this is God's will for you. He says, let your light shine in heaven. Let it shine before others so that people will see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. And don't you know that he sees that in heaven? But good works here in the Greek is a really interesting combination of words, kala erga, that's unique in this book right here. It's not used together this way in any of the other synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And what it expresses is it's the attitude of the work, which calls to the heart, the attitude of the heart. And our heart, says true disciples, have been changed. And the works we do for the glory of God. So Christ in you, the hope of glory. I can do all things, and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, who gives you strength as you go. And so this great purpose is to know Christ and to do good things, to bring out the light of Christ to the whole world. The Westminster Confession says, the chief end of man, the chief purpose of man, is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. So I want you enjoying God this week. Fear not, keep on. and walk in the light of God's highway. God bless you.